Ladies and gentlemen, my name is NGATTU Johnnie. I'm a medical lab scientist. I'm a member of UMLTA. I invite you to join me as I serve as your next UMLTA president. In our manifesto, we've been discussing about the 7 pillars, and this pillar number 7 has been brought to you, having saved the best for the last. Pillar number 7 talks about the price, and in price we talk about what do we benefit. All these pillars we've discussed talk about different aspects of the medical lab industry and all the different services offered by the medical lab professionals, whether we are certificate holders as medical lab assistants, or diploma as the medical lab technicians, or lab technologists with our bachelor's degrees, or medical laboratory specialists with our master's degrees, or as consultants with our PhDs. Ladies and gentlemen, this pillar talks about what is in it for us. The Baganda will say, "Tufuniramu wa." Some musicians will say, "Put your money where you see, take a cent water." This pillar talks about our salary and our pay structure. We know there are discussions to make sure that the lab professionals benefit from the U1 salary scale. But how are we growing in terms of salary structure from U7 science to U1 What do those salary codes mean? And how much is actually being earned? We know there are many professionals whose salaries were uplifted, but as the medical lab professionals, we offer 80% in healthcare decision making. How are we getting remunerated? We want our allowances. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to make sure that whether they are lunch allowances or meals, transport allowances, hardship allowances, overtime, risk allowances, we need to be sure that we can get our allowances and in time. We've been discussing the issue of health insurance. While the government is working on the health insurance for all Ugandans, I want to invite you to join me to have the health insurance for the medical lab professionals. How do we achieve this? I have many friends working in different insurance companies, and I've been informed that actually we can get better bargain for health insurance. We can get better bargain if we come together as an association. In our oneness, we can lobby to get insurance policies such as the workman's compensation. We can talk about group personal accidents. These are policies which are going to cover us for as long as we are ready to work together. Talk about 10,000 lab professionals engaging these insurance providers. We can be able to get these insurance covers with ease. You are looking at someone paying like 70,000 per year as the premium. Imagine 70,000 and you are covered under group personal accidents or workman's compensation. Imagine paying 350,000 and you are covered for a year, because we are doing this as one association. In my term of office, I want to invite you that we come together and concretize this discussion. There are so many other insurance policies that we can look at, whether they are unity trusts, whether they are investment plans. We can talk about life insurance. So the key thing here is, through our association, through UMLTA, we can achieve health insurance, not just for us as the lab professionals, but also for our dependents, for our spouses, our wives, our husbands, our mothers, our fathers, our children. Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue this engagement. How do we get to benefit from duty-free housing? Talk about vehicle financing. It is very possible, especially if we engage the service providers or we engage the government entities as one mother association, UMLTA. The training department in the Ministry of Health has so many scholarship opportunities for long-term and short-term trainings. How do we get to benefit? Whether we are lab assistants, diploma, degree, masters or PhD, whether they are in the country, whether they are across the East African region or African region, or on the bigger scale globally. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2013 we had the UMLTA conference at the Lakeview Hotel in Mbarara. The then Minister of Health, Right Honorable Akana Rugunda, launched the Lab Circle. That was in the regime of one of our past presidents, His Excellency Patrick Ogwoko. We need to engage him and his team to know what is the status of our Lab Circle. We know that we can benefit a lot when we are contribute to the Lab Circle. As we talk about looking for a way of hiring an office or actually developing our land and having the UMLTA Plaza, imagine 1,000, not just 1,000, imagine 10,000 lab professionals, each of them paying 30,000 annual subscription fee. This is already 300 million Uganda shillings. If all of us, the 30,000 lab professionals, pay our 30,000 annual subscription fee, that's 900 million Uganda shillings. This money is enough to either buy a building in Kampala in Central Region, or to say we want to have our own architectural design. Whether we want to buy 3 or 4 acres of land, we can achieve this. Whether it is in the medium term, whether it is in the long term, the key thing is for us to start, and start today, and start now. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has many initiatives under the investment clubs. Talk about the Myoga, talk about the parish development model, talk about the government wealth creation initiatives. Where are we as the lab professionals? How do we engage the micro support center? How do we engage the Ministry of Labor? How do we engage the different stakeholders to benefit from these investment initiatives? Talk about negotiating as a block for colleagues who want to open labs in the private sector. How do we get to discuss discounted bargaining for equipment leasing, for loans? How do we get to benefit from the private sector boost through this engagement as one association, as UMLTA? Ladies and gentlemen, we know that Uganda is among the few disease-gifted countries. We have the non-communicable diseases, we have the rare and emerging diseases, we have the infectious and communicable diseases. All these are opportunities for us to understand the changing technologies and see how to position ourselves and benefit from all these disease varieties through writing grants, through creating opportunities for the lab professionals. We need to lobby for increased budgetary funding, whether it is to do with occupational safety, whether it is to do with the PPEs, whether it is to do with the equipment upgrades in our labs, whether in government or private, not-for-profit or private sector. How do we get to lobby for improved lab logistics? Ladies and gentlemen, the Abuja Declaration talks about 15% of the national budget to be allocated to the healthcare budget. This financial year 2022-2023, the Ministry of Health was allocated about 3.5 trillion. We need to lobby and push and request the President and request the Parliament and request Cabinet and work together with the different donor agencies to push for a budget from 3.5 trillion, 7 trillion. But most importantly, to move from 7 trillion to 15 trillion. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that a functional healthcare system is about empowered lab professionals. This issue of increased budgetary funding will automatically lead to infrastructure development. In terms of the size of labs, in terms of the number of labs, there are a lot of World Bank projects for IMF, where we are looking at how we can engage infrastructure adjustments to allocate the lab. Better space, better workforce. All this is possible because we can achieve it as UMLTA. We cannot just meet once a year for the AGM and scientific conference. We need to increase engagement in our regions, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of scientific literature, we have a lot of scientific findings to share in our areas of specializations, issues to do with healthcare financing. We need to make sure that we have specialty journal clubs, because it is through these specialty journal clubs that we can understand the updates. We can understand the new trends in technologies, the new scientific evidence. All this can be shared in our association UMLTA by engaging different stakeholders. We can discuss issues of employment, skills in CV writing, skills in writing a personal statement for a scholarship. How do we get to know how to write an application for an opportunity to work? How do we learn to pitch our expertise? How do we offer tailored job market skilling? All this will be made possible if we strengthen our association. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to lobby for internship and apprenticeship opportunities for our colleagues who are in training, whether it is at certificate level, diploma level, or even bachelor's. The master's students need to visit and participate in high-end research, high specialization research. The consultants are already engaging a lot of knowledge generation. How do we get to work together with them as an association to benefit the colleagues in other areas, to benefit colleagues who are in need of work? We need more research assistants, whether they are going to work as sample runners, whether they are going to work as phlebotomists, whether they are going to work in sample accessioning. What we need to do is to create opportunities for all our colleagues to be employed through UMLTA as an association. In the new technology world of social media, how do we get to benefit from very nice TikTok video clips? How do we get to make money on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter? Ladies and gentlemen, the baseline is Peter 7 talks about how do we earn, how do we grow our revenue streams. We want to be sure that the government or the employers are able to give us our salaries, but also our allowances and all other benefits. Most importantly, how do we benchmark by learning from one another? You already know colleagues who are doing a lot of work that we can learn from. How do we engage them as an association? Pillar number 7, ladies and gentlemen, talks about what is in it for us. How do we get to grow ourselves? How do we get to improve our welfare? Through health insurance, through better pay, through better investment opportunities. I thank you so much. And as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few things to do. Number 1, please pay 50,000 and register to become a member of UMLTA. If you are already a member, please pay 30,000 and become a member of UMLTA by renewing your subscription. That is not enough. Let us pay 120,000 to participate in the 2-day scientific conference, because the AGM will take place on the 3rd day. And most importantly, I want to request you to campaign for me to serve as the next UMLTA president. This is a snapshot of my manifesto. This is a snapshot of your manifesto. It is hinged on the 7 pillars, because we need to continue the engagement using 5-star thinking, but using 7-star pillars, and looking at everything from a 360 degrees angle. I invite you to campaign for me. I invite you to vote for me. And I invite you to select for me the team with whom we shall be able to serve you and benchmark and learn from you and listen to you and work with you to grow UMLTA. Success is ours. Let us continue to discover the unknown. Your humble servant, NGATTU Johnnie Mary, a fellow lab professional for UMLTA president. Thank you so much. Let's keep the engagement.